Hola, bienvenidos a mi canal Yo Tango. This video is mostly going to be in English as I'm going to be discussing the resources I use to learn Spanish. The primary resource that I use is actually listening to music in Spanish. I'm a huge Eros del Silencio fan, so I listen to them quite a bit. I also have a Spanish playlist that I listen to quite a lot that does not have any Eros del Silencio on it, because if it did, it would just be a bunch of their songs. And if I'm going to listen to them, then I'm just going to listen to them. But it's got a bunch of different artists on it. Elena Zario, Lupita Infante are a couple that are on there. Also really like Lupita Infante's new song, Seguimos o No. Definitely I've listened to it on repeat quite a bit. Also, I watch Easy Spanish videos on YouTube, the Easy Spanish channel. I quite like them. I am focusing on Castellano a little bit more, so I do watch some of the ones in Spain a little bit more, but I watch some of the Mexico ones too, ultimately. Let's see, I also watch Spanish After Hours. I just saw where she was posting again, and that's very exciting. And those are the main ones I've seen or watched a lot to help me out in the beginning stages. And I do remember the Este es una bombilla video I watched so many times. It was quite funny and quite helpful, and I'm probably gonna watch it many more times again because it's a very entertaining video. As far as like actual books that I've gotten to help me, some of these I haven't really worked my way through, and I'll kind of say what I've gone through when I've gotten them. But the first one, the one that's probably going to be, you know, the least exciting of them, is the textbook that I use, which is this Complete Spanish Step by Step. That's the textbook I use. I've gone through the first 2 units. I think there are 6 units total. I've gone through the first 2 units, and somehow that ends up being 40% of the book, which quite frankly feels a little bit like my Spanish journey. Like these first little bit, I guess. I don't know. I've kind of heard that it can be like each level gets harder to progress to, but I've not found that to be the case. But I haven't progressed to many levels, so I'm sure that will change at some point. But I think it took me around half the time to get to A2 that it did to get to A1. This next one, I really bought this because, I don't think you can see that, but I really bought this because I think I'd read like a line or 2 I'd seen of one of this guy's poems. Also, apparently Leonard Cohen was a fan of this dude and was influenced by him. But this is Federico Garcia Lorca, and it's Sonnets of Dark Love, or Sonetos del Amor Oscuro. And I haven't really read through all the Spanish versions of this, but it is a bilingual edition, and that means, yeah, it's like the Spanish over here, the English over here, sort of thing. And I really read the English, but it's quite good. And actually think this is the dude on the back. This is not him on the front. This is him on the back. Honestly, looks a little like Bela Lugosi to me, which is a plus in my book, really. But I really enjoyed the poems. I really read it in the English version. I can't really remember if I bought this before deciding to learn Spanish or if I did it after. It would make sense if I did it after because I bought the bilingual edition, but it could have just been that this was the edition that existed. These next ones I've not read. I've kind of read some of the ghost one and some of the vampire one, but it was a little too hard at the time and I just haven't worked my way back through them. This is a series by Flavia de Drago. This is Gustavo El Fantasmita Tímido. It's the first book in the series. Then we have Leila la Brujita Perfecta. And then we have probably the one that I'm most interested in. Vlad el Vampirito Fabuloso. Yeah. I haven't really read through those. I've kind of dabbled a little bit in them, but I haven't really read through them. In Gustavo and Vlad, I've dabbled in. I don't think I've... Actually, maybe I did in Layla too, actually. I did. This one, kind of another scenario. I've kind of dabbled in this, haven't really read it through yet. This is a series I really enjoyed as a kid in English. So I bought the first book in Spanish. Gotta say the English version of the title of the series, I think the titles in general are kind of better than the Spanish one. But I'm excited to be excited about reading this again because reading the English version again at this age is not the most exciting thing. But this is La Casa del Arbol. And this is Dinosaurios al Atardecer. Ta-da! Excited about reading that. Like I said, I've dabbled in it. I haven't actually sat down and read the thing yet. And then this is something I got recently. I haven't worked my way through it, but I am quite excited to. Nuevo Dele A2. I don't have plans to take a Dele test. Maybe I will at some point in time. I think maybe if I did, I probably would start out at an A2, which is really around where my level is at now, but even if I got more advanced, I'd probably start out in A2 just to see how the test is, because I wouldn't say I do test very well. So I would have some reservations about that. But it does cost money. And there aren't very many testing centers. So it's quite the undertaking to even do it in the first place. It would be nice to have some sort of official certificate, but it's not the most important thing to me. And while self-assessments can be kind of subjective, I tend to underestimate mine more. So I'm pretty confident that I am really A2 level. I'm pretty confident that if I think I'm at a certain level, I'm probably there. So yeah, these are the resources I'm using. I wouldn't say I'm doing a lot in writing. Well, that's not true. When I do the textbook stuff, I do write out the sentences and stuff like that. So I am doing that. But like, as far as trying to write down my thoughts, like journal entries or something like that, or write little stories or whatever the case may be. I'm not really doing that at this point. I've done some like text messaging stuff, and speaking, of course, like I speak with native speakers. It's not really that hard to find native speakers where I'm at, so that's quite easy to do. And you know, half the time you really don't even have to try to find them. And sometimes my friend starts texting me in Spanish, so that works too. So yeah, those are the resources that I'm using to learn Spanish, and perhaps that was helpful to you. All three of you. So until next time, hasta luego, amigos.